Loki, episode 3. Have you guys seen it?
I did see it. Yeah, I saw it Wednesday night. Yeah, but I was in the middle of cooking dinner, so it kind of was going back and forth, but I did get the most of it. So,
and Ken?
I saw it, and I think I'm done with this. What is up, everybody? I'm breaking character. It's too hard to do the accent, and now I'm just so sweaty everywhere. I figure at a certain point I'm just going to be annoying everybody with it, so why not just break now?
Who are you? Whoa, you fooled me. What, Patrick, what?
What's the sound effect? Press a button.
Which one?
I don't care.
Lord have mercy on that.
That's what my bald cap feels. Yep. So if you guys don't know, this is a bald cap. Obviously, this was going to be for Good Things Utah, but Good Things Utah show didn't happen this week. So I said, fuck it. Let's do it anyway. It was a mistake. I'm very sweaty.
Dude, I think it looks good though.
Yeah.
Like when I first walked in, I was like, oh my God,
I look like
incredible.
I look like Mr. Clean, but short.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I was like, "Hey, where the hell do I park?" Because I'd never been to your new place before, and you're like, "It's over there." I'm like, "Who the fuck? Oh, it's Patrick."
What is that?
Some crazy bald man just running over.
Oh, you could do better than that.
No, I can't.
You could do better than that. Nat did better than that.
No.
I need insults.
I could do better,
this.
but just to be respectful of.
I'm a condom.
Audience.
I look like a condom.
That's not where I was going.
I do.
Okay, that's not where I was going though.
I look like protection for people.
Do you?
A little.
You think so?
Maybe.
This part feels like it.
How hot is under there?
It's so hot. Like back here, I've been leaking this whole time. I don't know how much sweaty it is
I
back.
see, it was fun. I've been doing that too, but for a different reason.
Dude, I'm so happy that you're on, and you guys are killing it doing this. Well, I'm
sweet.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll dip back into Ken, but the Loki episode was dope, man. It was very cool that we finally get, because let's be honest, Loki in mythology became a horse, had sex with a horse, and then gave birth to a horse. He really, like, bisexual is kind of an understatement compared to what he's done in history. So it's very cool that Marvel is finally starting to like go into mythology and like give a little bit of stuff with that. And I think who is the person that's running this? The Loki, it's Kate something.
I'd have to look it up.
She directed this episode, right?
And she's the showrunner. So she
celebrated it on Twitter, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact it broke the internet in that sense, that was really nice. But
I want to ask Adam this because I honestly don't know, and I don't know what your opinion is on this. Like, for instance, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, there was a little bit of, I guess the best way to put it is like gay baiting, where they had people in the back kind of blurred out kissing.
2-second scene kind of thing.
Exactly. This feels like it's a little bit more important, but was it enough that it actually felt like it was a appropriate nod and an appropriate, like, we're actually showing this the right way?
What's really funny is as we're doing this, it's Pride Month, and we've been doing the Pride episodes, again, graphic novels for funny books. And we had a conversation last week about, when you have queer characters in any kind of art form, whether it's comics or movies, do you need to come right out and say I'm gay or I'm bi, or just the fact that it's a queer character and they're having those sensibilities? What do you need? And I always joke, I'm not the gay Lorax. I don't speak for the gays. I speak for the trees. So how I feel about it isn't how everyone else does. Sure. That being said, I do like the fact that it wasn't like it was swept under the rug. It wasn't like as cool as in Endgame when they're at the little therapy session. He mentioned like, oh, my husband disappeared. This one was subtle too. It wasn't as if he just came right out and said, I fuck dudes, but he made the point that, yes, I've been with men and women. Mm-hmm. So it was both obvious and at the same time it wasn't overt, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that whole scene where they're actually just sitting and talking is probably the highlight of the whole episode. I think many will say that the one take through the city will be, but that was one where maybe
that one take was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, this is the one where I finally was like, okay, I get why some people call these gimmicks.
Yeah, no, that was really awesome.
Yeah, it felt like a gimmick to me this time.
I liked it.
I felt like the edits were too noticeable.
Yes, and
I'd have to go back and look at it because every time you see something that's got like the one take thing, whether it's Birdman or the first Kingsman, well, and the second Kingsman.
Hmm.
Like Birdman, especially because I knew it was there. I spent the first 20 minutes of the movie trying to find where the cuts were. And then you could finally get lost in it and enjoy yourself. But yeah, there are those times where you're like, oh, it's right there. And I think a lot of people wouldn't really notice that because they're not used to trying to look for things.
Mm-hmm.
But with people who do see a lot of movies and who do review them professionally, that's kind of part of what you do, is to dissect and really analyze a movie. So I think for us, it's a bit more obvious. But for the average person who doesn't do that, they wouldn't notice it. So
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was actually when they're on the train. I thought that was really fun because you kind of see Loki try to take on these different characters, like the guards, and then to see them relax, even though this planet is about to, I don't know, destruct itself because of another collision of the planet, right? To see them relax and him get drunk and kind of lose his sense of, we have to blend in. That was really fun. Like, it was a very character-driven episode rather than action-packed until the end,
Yeah, I agree with that. Did you notice in this one that they definitely made more use of the Mandalorian special effects?
Yeah. Like, you mean with the way they did they filmed it, you mean?
Yeah, you could tell that they were totally using that specific sound stage.
Okay.
I feel like Mandalorian now is starting to have a specific style that you can see when that technology is used somewhere else. I thought that was cool that it was back in and being used for stuff. Maybe they could have used more because the city was great because you got a lot of practical effects around it. But when they were just in like the barren desert, those were the parts where I was like, that looks a little bit noticeably green screeny when they're just kind of walking and there's nothing in front of them or anything to kind of like give you something to look at instead. But it's really the dialogue that I like the best and the interaction between the two Lokis.
Yeah, well, I mean,
if she is a Loki. Do we think she's a Loki?
I don't.
No?
I think she's the Enchantress.
You're the second one to say that.
Yep.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think what's happening right now is happening. I think she's got in his head. So
really?
That's just my thing.
Oh, shit, dude.
Remember when she touched him and then he's like, oh, it doesn't do anything. She's like, well, sometimes for, strong-willed people, I have to go and find this one thing that I can't remember what she said.
Oh, interesting.
She's got to work harder.
She's accepting him.
It's in his head. No, again, I could be 100% wrong.
But that's a really good theory.
Dude, I'm open to that. That makes her character all the more fascinating to me. And what I find interesting is that there's such a split division on this show where some really love it or some really hate it. And I don't understand the hate it.
For Loki?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of hate.
I've seen a bit out there.
I've seen way more hate for WandaVision than anything else.
And see, I think people went into WandaVision expecting Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
Whereas for me, WandaVision, the first 3 episodes are like, what the fuck's going on? And then it's like, oh, here we go. But the whole point of WandaVision was it was a treatise on grief. In fact, when I was talking to my therapist, she doesn't watch any of that stuff. I'm like, well, let me tell you about this. And she's like, oh, I have to watch that now. Because she does specialize in grief and everything else. But that's why I love WandaVision so much, because it was that character-driven piece. Falcon I had fun with it, but I did still put WandaVision above that. And Loki's creeping up because I do like character-driven dialogue TV shows and film. And then fun, stupid things like F9 too.
Is it weird that there's 3 episodes left?
Is there only 3 left?
There's only 3 episodes left.
I thought it was like 8, wasn't it?
It's just 6.
Oh, damn.
It's crazy, right?
But they're longer too than...
They're a little longer.
Yeah.
They're a little longer. But I would say, though, for the first 3, it's kind of like surprising that there's not a little more. These back-end shows are going to be very loaded with stuff. I'm going to guess what this next episode is, and I'll call it right now. It's all going to be in Owen Wilson's perspective about what happened during the time that Loki was doing the train stuff. And then it'll end with them meeting up, and then it'll tee off the next episode.
I hope not.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be like, now here's what was happening on this side. And then
I just want it to be that she's actually in his head, but they're projecting it somewhere, and it's just an hour of Owen Wilson going, wow.
Ooh, there was a big reveal in this, speaking of Owen Wilson and jet skis. He is also a variant.
They're
Everybody in the TVA are variants.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to think about.
Yeah, I really like that detail because that the plot thickens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, well, who is the bad guy in this show then?
The other one I heard was it? I don't.
Oh,
So-
what was it? Kang. There was some rumor that Kang
I don't
might
think
actually
there is.
be the guy.
Every single time we think we have this really cool fan theory
Mephisto.
about that, like Mephisto and WandaVision.
Mephisto.
Kevin Feige's too smart. He knows what people want, and he knows how to give it to them the right way.
I didn't like Ralph Boner, and I didn't care how it was given to me. I didn't like Ralph Boner.
Oh, I thought you said rough boners. I do enjoy those.
Where's
You can look like a boner right now, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The one
like
theory
the
I
ones that
saw-
are like really bendy?
Like the bendy boners, the
Yeah, yeah.
dildos,
Yeah.
like flippity.
This does not look real. This is definitely like
that looks like a helmet head.
this is latex.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Anyway,
And see, I couldn't probably use it because like latex does not agree with me. So like when I was a kid, they had those little like fake stretch eyeballs for like Halloween time, and having it sit on my eye like right here, even with my eye closed for 2-3 minutes, my whole face just swelled up. So
dang.
no, but the one theory I heard that was kind of fun is that the main woman who's in charge of the TVA, who kind of guards everything, that she actually is the Loki variant, and that this person is the Enchantress or someone else.
See, I thought it was Owen Wilson who might be that,
But I mean, they are all variants, so who knows who is?
because Loki's the one who's most helping him out. Like, wow, you're my friend. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Well, I think to make it simpler, it just makes more sense why he cares about this Loki, because they're both variants. Like if you could simplify it that easily, and Feige likes a simplified story too. He definitely will introduce comic ideas, but he's not going to give you a full Kirby panel or something.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Marvel always does really well is they take all this lore and everything else, well, in the MCU at least, not so much in the comics, and they distill it down so Grandma and Grandpa go see Guardians of the Galaxy because the grandkids want to see it, and they walk out and Groot is now their favorite character. And that's just something they really do masterfully as far as distilling it down to its essence. So you still have an amazing story that you really like, but you don't need to worry about like the 55,000 volumes of backstory. So
Simplified. And Loki's probably the most complex right now,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm curious to see how they tie it up. I don't know where it's going. The other two, you kind of got an idea kind of early on where it might go, but this one I actually have no idea.
Most streamlined. Like you
Right.
you were very But Loki, I hope this has the most implications into what we see in the movies, because we got a little bit of that with WandaVision, but I don't think we've really hit enough of a like this is where we're going for the movies. And Feige promised that a lot more than what I think we're getting.
I'm gonna ask a question I asked last week. I'm gonna ask it every week until the end of the show to see if your mind changes. But do you think the Loki we see in the show will retcon his death in Endgame and he'll come back to the cinematic universe?
Oh shit! No, don't do that.
No. I think that you could have a possibility of his coming back from a different dimension, galaxy, whatever you want to say. Also, how long does Tom Hiddleston want to do the role until they pass it off to someone else? But the fact of the matter is they made a big point that these timelines have to happen a certain way. In fact, he's like, oh, go arrest the Avengers for all they did. And they're like, no, that was part of this determined timeline. And they did a very, very big setup in Endgame describing how it works for time travel works for them. That is, it's multiverse, all this kind of fun stuff. Which is why it's funny. Everyone says, oh, Cap's an asshole because he went back in time and lived with Peggy. I'm like, yeah, he did it in another dimension, another universe that wasn't part of this one. So the last thing he did was put the last stone back and come to where we are.
So what if Loki, speaking of theories, he finds the variant and replaces that variant with himself in the timeline of Thanos, right? And Thanos actually kills the variant and Loki's still hiding, like being mischievous.
So like he just I doubt it'll go that intense.
Well, just know I'm going to be asking this every time we talk about Loki. So
I'm into it. Any other thoughts about Loki?
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, I didn't realize there's only 3 episodes left. Although I was really excited because I got the screener for the first 2 like a month ago. So everyone's been like, oh, I can't wait a week. I'm like, I've been waiting a month, bitch. So,
well, I also like how it ended on a huge cliffhanger too.
Yeah.
Because like the action was escalating and then you're like, oh my God, what's the next step? And then the credits roll. but it's like in the middle of them trying to survive in a way. So I like this show.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm excited to see what happens next.
Look at the back of the chair.
Ew.
Dude,
My skin is falling off.
doing some lotion.
Oh God. Well, with that being said, we're gonna move into the next segment, which Adam was so gracious to be here with us to celebrate. You actually were with us to celebrate the first Pride episode that we did for Gaggle of Geeks ever.
Was it June that one time? Or was it just
It was around this time last year, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, again, last year, which is kind of a blur, was
It
everything
really
that happened.
was like we were doing a virtual. I think you had brought a friend or a co-host from one of the shows.